Do you remember when we were coming out here in the wintertime and we could like see our breath in the video?
Yeah, when I think we had to cut a couple parts out because I was shivering so much.
Yeah, and now it looks like you've taken a shower and I'm sweating and I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt. It's like July. We're pushing into July.
What even is it outside?
It's too hot.
It's only 77.
But it's super humid.
It's so humid.
I don't like it.
Yeah, almost getting a thunderstorm humid.
Yeah. And again, I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt, and so are you.
I wore a white shirt underneath this. This is kind of bad. Yeah.
It's not great.
Well, we went out this past Saturday, I think it was, and you weren't able to be there for the whole thing, but it was really funny. We have it in the same clip almost, like 10 minutes after Josh left. We had the next conversation, which I thought was really funny, but this one, the one that followed that conversation afterwards, was a really, really interesting one. And I think one of the reasons why it makes it so interesting is whenever we post clips of this, people go like, people don't actually say that stuff. These must be actors, which I think is really, really funny.
It's really insulting to like your fellow pro-choicers.
It's really insulting. But this one goes down a pretty dark path pretty early on. And I think one thing that I was really excited about doing this one is you don't know much at all about it. Like I called him afterwards and just told him what happened, but you don't know like how it flowed or anything. But this one we would have definitely taken different approaches on, because I guess just like the starting thing is I believe in morality is instilled into somebody, regardless if they're Christian or not. Josh would take a little bit of a different approach, stupider approach.
The biblical one.
I'd say the stupid.
It's funny that you say stupider when it's biblical.
I would say so. I would say when it's written on your hearts, they're referring to morality. But Josh only follows parts of scripture. So
I'm going to put the scripture up on screen, and we'll let the audience decide. And since it's only going to be your dad, he's going to side with you. So.
Could I hear your side? What do you think?
Well, a lot of young women make unwise decisions about getting pregnant, and then they don't realize they don't have the financial resources to have kids. So I feel that, and a lot of them don't want to accept they have to deal with a kid who might have Down syndrome or some type of mutation like that.
I thought it was funny. So I guess we're probably going to post this one soon, but the Down syndrome thing, that was almost like a pro-life argument, or like, just anti-abortion argument that like, well, what if it was a kid with Down syndrome, right? And now it's almost being adopted into the pro-choice side as, well, what if they have Down syndrome? We should kill them. And I think it's all because of like the Jesse Ridgway thing. Yeah. Right? With like now that like some people are like, yeah, they had Down
we
syndrome.
have to defend. We have to defend what he did. He's one of ours. Yeah.
So that really shocked me, because I mean that all came out like a week and a half like before this. Like
recording,
it just surprised me that just happened like relatively to this, and it's already being used as the forefront of some arguments. Isn't that weird?
It is.
Yeah.
Well, there's another thing before you hit play, and you told me not to bring this up, but I do think it's like funny how we have a black fella wearing a white shirt and white shorts. We have a white fella wearing a black shirt, black jeans. And I'm just saying the art here is I like this guy that you hired. Good job picking this guy.
So do you think we kind of touched on two things there. I really appreciate your insight. I guess like economical struggle. Do you think if a mother is economically struggling and she has a 2-year-old, then she should be able to kill that 2-year-old?
Yeah,
You think they should?
Yeah, because if you can't financially handle raising a kid, there's going to be a lot of psychological issues the kid's going to have.
Maybe you missed me. Let me back up. So if a mother has a...
What were you thinking right now? Like, what's your...
I had two thoughts. One was, he must not have understood my question. And two was, he did understand my question. And like, that's the point where I was trying to figure out, I don't know if you can see in my face, I was trying to figure out how I wanted to go with that. Either like seeing if there's more to it, like if there's any any sympathy behind that argument or not. But I was just really thrown off with what do you...
Well, this would be your third time asking. You say it, he says yes. You go, really, 2-year-old? And then you're like, well, let me throw you another lifeline. All right, let's just try to piece this together.
No, he doubles down again.
2-year-old child, and she can't afford that child. She has a 2-year-old, like somebody like right here. If we have a 2-year-old right here, should she be able to kill that 2-year-old?
He's a really tall 2-year-old, by the way. I don't think they're.
I was that tall as a 2-year-old.
I don't think. I don't think 2s can like walk yet.
2-year-old child.
At that point, it would be classified as murder, so if I'd say no.
So I guess just morally. What do you think morally? You said classified, but what do you think morally?
Morally, I think no. I think adoption probably be the best alternative.
But how so? Because I thought if she had those economic struggles, then that justifies the horrific thing that comes next.
I would probably, in different cultures, they have different ways of viewing that, but I think just in American culture, killing a 2-year-old, even if it's justified, a lot of people would just look down on that.
Even though it's justified? But you think it would be justified to kill the 2-year-old? Did I understand you right?
That's like the 6th time. Just double checking.
I like that he says it's not right, but in some cultures, and
Well, it's not right because it would be like
illegal.
Yeah.
Well, the police would come after you, but in some cultures, it's like evil ones. You mean like ones that should be destroyed? Yeah. I guess they do.
He goes into that, if I remember right, in a little bit, but
I think it would. Yeah, I think it would be.
Damn. Okay.
I just.
The way that he's like half smirking makes me think maybe he's not. Maybe he's like rage baiting. Maybe he's like, I'm gonna
think
F
so.
with his white boy.
It goes further. It's either he really locked into the bit, or it's going. But
should I cut that black impression I just did?
It was good.
Okay.
I mean, you got talent.
When do you think it would be
we
wrong?
We're animals biologically, and if you go out, like in Africa, there's plenty of instances where a impala recently, just gave birth to her baby, and there's probably a jaguar coming to try to attack them, and often the impala will leave her baby just to die, and get eaten alive.
Are you implying that that's wrong? Because I would say that's wrong.
I think it's just natural. I think it's not right nor wrong. Do
you think that there's anything we could commit that is wrong?
A friend
A friend of the channel
brought up something that like I should have brought up. Like, well, what do you think if like slavery was slavery wrong?
Yeah.
I like my job. I like my job right now. That research.
You're living a comfortable life. Yeah.
But that is, I did, the more I was thinking about it, because it's really funny how, this is one thing I find really disturbing about these conversations. There's certain words that are becoming desensitized, and they're becoming desensitized really fast. And that's why I think you and I, mainly me, switch up some of my language on some things, because for a while, like even fetus was recognized as something like, oh my gosh, like that's a child. Like, and then we switch it to baby.
Yep.
Well, that baby in the womb, and now that's desensitized. So switching to children, but you kind of find the same thing here, where like that's what I was wondering if slavery would be a good thing, because like murder is even being a little desensitized. I would argue that rape is kind of like slowly becoming that, just because it's so used, right? But slavery would be an interesting one to throw too.
Yeah. No, since we are a couple minutes into this review and nobody's going to be watching, I'm curious if you'd said, so when Derek Chauvin knelt on George Floyd's neck, was that wrong? Or is that just the way it is? Just like that impala leaving its baby. I mean, it just is, right? Like,
is there a certain reason why you choose that analogy?
Because it's a bad thing that happened that I don't agree with. I don't agree with that happening. What's your thoughts on George Floyd? Go ahead. Also, where do you work?
I don't think George Floyd was a good fellow.
I don't, but I don't think the police acted responsibly. I think when he was having a clear medical issue, you probably shouldn't have held him down. You probably shouldn't have treated him like that. But here's the thing. As a Minnesotan, Minneapolis police are a-holes. Don't mess with Minneapolis police. They're not nice. They're not good people generally. So I think they acted irresponsibly. but also he was like high on fentanyl. So like, I mean, yeah, it was a sad thing that happened. And
Wasn't he already overdosing?
yeah, but there are things you can do to somebody when they're overdosing. Right?
True.
You don't like throw them on the ground and then like kind of kneel on them. And again, technically, I don't know. That was my favorite thing. We're gonna do a George Floyd episode now. That was my favorite thing in the court case where they proved that his knee never touched George's neck. He only knelt on his shoulder. His knee never touched his neck.
Oh, really?
Right? And there was like, I think there was no damage to George's neck as well. But that's just like the image that everybody uses is knee on the neck, and it's like it didn't even happen. Yeah. But like again, that's again.
Just regarding abortion or just
Anything, I guess, because I mean, that was even outside of abortion. Like 2-year-old, that was outside of abortion. So would you say that there's anything that you would say, no, that's wrong? We may be animals, but that's wrong. Are you consistent in that view that you would say no matter what happens to somebody, if they're raped, tortured, like all that's fine because we're just like space dust crashing into space dust?
I would say no. Like dogs, for example, I think most studies shown that dogs have a brain of like a 4-year-old, and they would, like mother dog would eat, I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah, I guess we're heading down a pretty dark path. I would say that.
Were you picking on a vulnerable adult? That's where I'm getting to the point.
No.
Is this guy allowed to be outside?
We're gonna watch the full video and you're gonna feel really bad.
When this guy walks away, was there like somebody who came up and were like, "Hey, have you seen my friend?"
Okay. So here's our dynamic. I'm the nice anti-abolition or anti-abortion guy that doesn't mind being called pro-life or whatever. This is the mean abolitionist guy.
I'm a mean guy. I don't
have a heart for this guy.
I don't pick on people with mental disabilities, though.
I make
this nice, differently abled person needs to be protected from you.
Old ladies and disabled people, you watch out. No, I don't think this guy was disabled, but I think he was just following the actual logic of it, and I think some of the hesitation was he was following the logic of what atheism really plays out to be. And I think he was kind of seeing it not play out really well.
Okay. Well, also in front of a camera, right? Maybe
that's my main thing too. That's my main thing too.
Yeah.
Like you and I are kind of used to it, but for a stranger, I would imagine that would be pretty difficult to be thrown on the spot.
Right.
But
people have value, more value than a dog. And I guess if you're coming at it from, I don't want to assume, but if you're coming at it from like an atheistic perspective, just for an example, because I would say that lines up with like atheism or that route, I would say then you're consistent in that belief. However, I do think that there might be something in you that might acknowledge that that's wrong, right? That like if something were to happen to somebody, that's wrong. And I think it's because we have morality instilled in us. And I think that directly points to a creator who created us. So I'd say if this is all by accident, like I personally don't have enough faith to believe that this all happens from accident. I'm not a big blind faith guy. I believe that there's a mountain of evidence for a creator. We can talk about who that creator is and how I got to that. But I think if we know that there's a creator, then there's something a little different about us, especially if that creator says that we're made in the image of him. So that's why I would be sad if something happened to a dog. If somebody hit a dog, that would be horrible. But if I was here and somebody came in and were to harm you, like I would be crying because I just care about you that deeply. And I think that's why you're valuable, because you were designed meticulously and you're put here for a purpose. And that purpose is to know your creator. So I guess if you have that atheism foundation that we're talking about, you're consistent in that. But I think even to point towards that morality that's in you, I guess I would really invite you to take a look at that morality and maybe think maybe there's something more to that.
I'm not necessarily atheist. I kind of am on the road of some paganism, nature-based religions currently. I do believe there's a creator, probably not the Abrahamic, but from a nature perspective, I just view myself connected with everything around me, like this one blade of grass, trees, leaves, everything like that.
Yeah, I think there's a purpose, right? There's no way. I think that we're talking. The reason why you're searching is because there's no way this was all an accident, right? There had to be something that created it. I think the beautiful grass that we're pointing out here, I think that's the fingerprint of the creator, right? I think that's that. Like when I look at
one thing that I honestly found creepy about this. So we had one interaction with somebody that went really good, and then in between, I was talking to my dad. I was reading Charlie Kirk's last book, and in it he talked about the green movement. They fall in the trap of worshiping the earth. Mm-hmm. In a lot of ways, they fall to it, and it's because they mistake the echo for the voice. Mm-hmm. So I was literally talking to my dad about this like 5 minutes before this guy walked up, and then when you listen to it back, it sounds for a second like he said major religions, but he said nature religion.
Yeah. Yep.
So I found that so weird that like I hadn't even thought of that argument, and then I was talking to my dad about it, and then 5 minutes later somebody came up and claimed that. I thought that was so wild.
Look at the grass, I don't think of wow, it just came into existence. No, I look at that and I think somebody created it. Same as I look at your watch, I go, that's intelligently designed. There has to be an intelligent creator, right? And I think if I'm hearing you right, it feels like you're acknowledging that there might be something more there, right? And here's the thing, I don't know if you've had bad experiences with Christianity. I know a lot of people have, and depending on it, like I stand with you to mourn how awful some of those things are if that happened to you, but I don't want that to take away from that God that loves you. And in fact, I think we have so much evidence to prove that he is real. Like
Israel? You always got to mix that in. It's weird. It's a weird thing I've noticed with you.
I encourage you to question it just because I have that much confidence in it. So I would never ever look down on somebody for questioning those things. And in fact, I applaud you for questioning those things. And I think just since you're on, like I said, I don't want to paint you as something you're not, but it looks like you're kind of looking for that something more. And I think just hearing you, I wouldn't be surprised if it's that morality in you that's kind of thinking there's got to be more to this. We're kind of similar age. I don't know if you struggle with kind of searching for purpose sometimes. You don't have to answer if you don't feel comfortable, but
I do.
Yeah.
It's getting more real, heavier.
Yeah.
Because since I'm recently out of school, and all I've been doing is working full time at my job here, just learning more about everything and developing myself as a person is becoming more of my own responsibility.
It's a big step, isn't it? Kind of stepping into a different arena, almost like.
I kind of relied on school and like my group of people who are similar to me, but now that I'm out of college, I don't have that luxury anymore.
Yeah.
Like the job I work at now, it's the first one where many people I work with are at different stages in their lives, and it's not just the same linear people. So it's
kind of searching for that purpose then. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like a lost feeling.
Yeah. No, I've struggled with that a lot, and I think one thing that's brought me clarity is realizing my purpose, and that's to know the Creator. And I don't want it to seem like I'm pushing you on that aspect in the sense of like being unfair about it and keep jamming it on you. But honestly, it would be pretty unloving if I believed that you have a purpose and I didn't show you that. Would you say that's true? Like if I believed there's like a cure for you or something that can kind of help you work through it, and I held that back, man, that would be like, you would really have to hate somebody to do that. And I just really want to emphasize that like listen, we're talking about abortion, we're talking about all these things. If I made a great argument and everything and you missed my heart behind it, I would go home counting that as a loss. like, I really want you to see my heart behind it, and that the reason why I'm out here, the reason why I'm going into this part of the conversation is because I truly care about you. And I know you kind of, like, you were kind of talking about some of those questions that you had. I really don't want to overwhelm you with stuff, if that makes sense.
I would like to say, I really feel for this guy. Like, my heart really breaks for him. There's, in Charlie's book too, I really like this, where there's two worldviews that are being pushed right now. And the first one is that you are meticulously designed, you have a purpose, you are loved, you know, all these things. And the second one is that you're space dust. You're an accident. This is it. So enjoy it while it lasts. And if you buy into that second one, that false reality, we didn't go into it a lot, but you do see a glimpse of what that looks like. And my heart really did break for the guy when I noticed that. And you can kind of see why the other things fall into where they did, right? Like, if you truly believe that, then there really is nothing wrong about...
Yeah, well, there's no difference between stepping on the blade of grass and killing the 2-year-old. They're all interconnected. It is just all random, even if there is a creator. And what I think is important about that, if you were done.
Yeah.
Okay. What I think is important about that is that, like, we are standing out there with a sign about abortion, right? That is the main crux of the challenge, the main thing that we push for. But, like, you just spent probably 6 minutes giving this guy the gospel in a way that potentially he has not heard it before, right? And it's like, you could sit there and you could provide a great argument. You could move him from pro-choice to anti-abortion. You can move him as far anti-abortion as possible, right? But if you don't present the gospel, if you don't give him the ladder out, then he'll go home being anti-abortion, die and burn in hell, right? That is what, like, the abortion thing is important, but going out there to give the gospel, like, the abortion thing is a way to step into giving the gospel. And I think that was a really, because again, I wasn't there when you did that. I think that was a really great job of you, like, putting it on him for probably 5 minutes, and like, and he didn't really have a whole lot to say, but you were, again, just going on and on and on about, again, the truth that is, God is there and he loves you and he wants you to be part of him, right? And again, we aren't just space dust. We aren't just the grass blades. Like, it does mean something to end a human life.
Yeah, 100%. I think that was one thing that takes some getting used to when you're doing this, or just having these conversations. But there's so much more I wanted to get into, like, so much more. If you kind of keep going, all that path that you paved before, when they get home, there's a big chance that they'll forget it.
Yep.
So I think sometimes you kind of have to plant a seed, hoping that kind of takes root.
Correct.
And then be praying that either you or somebody else can keep watering that seed.
100%.
I know that was really tough at the end, where, like, I really wanted to get going the rest, because, like, I didn't even get to touch on, you know, the price for sin. You know, there's a lot of things I didn't get to touch on, but if we don't even see eye to eye on there being a creator yet, right? If we don't even see eye to eye on if you have a purpose, we can't even get to that spot. You know?
No.
So I was really glad with that interaction. I think one thing that kind of stuck with me after that one is right after I did, I just had the feeling like I could see myself doing this for a while. After that one, I'm like, okay, you know, this is something I really do enjoy. And because I think there's been a lot, like, I want to make a full video specifically at the end of the summer, speaking about the journey we got to actually being able to talk to people, and how long that took for efforts. Like, how many times going home feeling absolutely defeated. I didn't even say this, but literally I'll go into it more when we make that video, but we're outside for, I think, probably 16 to 18 hours before we got any interactions. I remember we were scouring a place to do it. I was just about to say, like, guys, I'm gonna give this 2 more tries, and then I'm done. I'm done. I'm gonna quit. We're gonna figure out something else. Like, either something's going to change or I'm going to quit. And, like, 10 minutes after we had that conversation is when we had, like, our first person walk up. So going from being, like, disappointed every time to, like, actually being able to see just a glimpse of what might possibly be the fruit of this, or, like, being able to have conversations. That was really encouraging to be able to reflect on that. But I think the other duality of this is there's somebody in my church that I'm pretty close to, where they had to watch their grandchild struggle for life, because I think she went into labor at 28 weeks, something like that. So like pretty early, and it got pretty dark for a while. And so being with them on Sunday, so like the day afterwards, after just having a conversation with somebody that like doesn't even value a 2-year-old, but then seeing them so emotionally empty, you know, because they went through it, or like, you know, that they're finally seeing the light at it, but like emotionally just like struggle, like a weight had just kind of been lifted because it's finally starting to go good. So from seeing him to somebody willing to give their life for that child, if it came down to like the duality of it, was really, really interesting to see at work in the same weekend.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, and again, with him, I don't even know if he was serious or not about the 2-year-old thing, because it almost felt like he was kind of like tongue-in-cheek smirking about it, right? But then on the same side, he did get into like the whole, like generally people don't joke about their religion. Like if they're going to be serious about something, he would be. And then he said the whole grass thing. So it's like, well, maybe he does view, again, there not being a big difference between animals and humans and, you know, life of any sort, right?
Yeah.
So.
One closing bit, I thought this was so funny. I don't know if you saw it on Facebook, but during this I don't know if you want to call it episode, or the weekend that we were out, I posted a picture of me in front of the sign with a We Are Charlie Kirk shirt with the caption of, "Do you think they'll like my shirt?" And I took many photos, but one of them I did like this pose or whatever, and my elbow blocked I think it was the checks for the no. I didn't even notice it, and I posted that picture, and somebody said that, you know, I was trying to cover up the nose to make it seem worse. I'm like, no, like the reason why I'm out here is because we actually have way more yeses on yes, abortion should be legal than there is no's. Yeah. Because I think I tallied, I think I might have forgot one on each of them, because I was remembering, oh, there was one more person that said no, but that means that 3 of those no's are us. Yeah. 3 of those no's. So that means that we have maybe 2 no's versus I think that was our 11th. That was our 10th or 11th. Yes. Yeah. So I'm like, no, the reason why this ratio is like so big is the reason why I'm so concerned about it. Right? That's the reason why I'm out there. So you're trying to cover up the nose. There's a couple like faults. Number one, we are at war with the culture, right? We're not sitting, again, this is like in Minnesota when they hold like anti-ICE protests and they go out there and like, ICE out. And it's like, yeah, everybody here agrees with you. We're like an unbelievably blue, like, what do you expect? Yes, everybody here is on board with you, right? Like, I don't, but like no one, well, no one's we're the minority, right? Yeah. Versus when it's like you and me, like abortion is wrong and like everybody's disagreeing with us. The other thing is you could just mark no's. Like if you really cared, you don't have to cover it. You could just mark no. Like it's your chalkboard. You think like as if we're going to be audited. Like the officer, the cop's going to come up and be like, "All right, we need IDs for everybody who marked yes and no." Like, what are you talking about? Like, I assume it was a lady who said that. Because I can't remember, but the funnier thing is, so I posted a picture of with my arm down. That was taken like 1 second before or whatever, and I said like, that was an incredibly stupid assumption. Yeah. And then somebody said like, oh, you really went back out there and took a picture? No, they didn't. Oh my gosh, dude. There was no freaking winning. You notice your arm is blocking the no votes, trying to hide the fact that the yes votes are outweighing them. Again, I don't care. I said, not trying to hide it. That was an absolutely incredibly stupid assumption. I'm not intimidated if my views are in the minority. And then Josh says, this isn't you. I hope not. No. Quick, someone found me out. Delete some lines so I can lie. What the hell does that even mean? Like, that's... How is that? I don't. How do these people? No. How do they get through life? Quick, remove some lines. Like I went out there. Yeah. I retook it the exact same. I thought about zooming in on the grass and just being like, even the blades aren't different. Yeah. You know what I mean? But oh my gosh, there's no fixing some people. No, that is fantastic. That is fantastic. Quick, somebody, it's our sign. Like your dad made the sign, right? Like we could just it's so strange. These people are so odd. It's not like it's an online system where like a bunch of like if there are certain comments that start disappearing, right? And you're like, well, that's weird. Every time I say, you know, he's got mangled ears or he's fat, like my comment disappears. It's like, oh, I wonder how that happens, right? This is like
a sign like that we made, and it's only us who have like. It's These people are.
They're out there.
I'm gonna say some mean things, so we should probably.
We should
wrap up.
probably cut before you go on the tangent.
These people